This episode of Fishing with Tyler brought to you by Powell Fishing Rod, Yeti Cooler, wildly stronger, keep ice longer. Hoorag, the better bandana. Eco Pro Tungsten. Molix. Think, feel, fish. Venom Lures.
Guys, you have some of those days where everything just comes together. You catch fish like, that you think you should be able to all the time. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you throw. It doesn't matter what color you throw. It doesn't matter where you're at. We've all had those days where it seems like everything comes together, and it's just like, they're few and far between. Don't get me wrong, but man, when those days come, they are sure fun. This is one of those times. A bass club, Lawrence County Bass Club, has a annual husband and wife tournament, and it's actually now dedicated to a fellow named Paul Tolan, who was a good friend of ours in the bass club there. That I was just able to meet him a couple years, I should say. I got to fish with him in our bass club classic one year, and hadn't really talked to him before that. Great guy. Ended up losing his life to cancer, as so many people in America anymore, around the world anyway. But they've dedicated this tournament to Paul Tolan. His wife is one of the biggest advocates of the tournament, and it's always a great time. We have a good turnout. This year was the biggest turnout we had. But this year, I took Misty out for a while. We went out to Yatesville, the place that was going to be fished, on a Tuesday before. The tournament was on Sunday of that week. Went out, borrowed Kyle's boat, went to Yatesville fishing, and absolutely smashed them. Had one of the best days at Yatesville that I've ever had in my entire life. I caught 4 keeper bass, and they were probably anywhere from 10.5 to 12 pounds, depending on what they would have weighed. I didn't measure any of it, or I measured them all, but I didn't weigh any of them. But the biggest one I figured was probably 4.5 pounds, a little over 4. So that's a good fish out there, especially this time of year. But when we got back into the Sunday rolls around, we're fishing 4 out of a boat, me and Misty, and then Kyle and his wife Courtney, fishing out of Kyle's Z9, so it's a little cramped quarters, but went and found them on Tuesday, went back to the same spot on Sunday, graphed the fish. They were there all day long. They were there, stacked in there, and a couple different coasts we went to, and then we just couldn't get them to bite. We had the 2 fish. Misty ended up catching the only keeper that we had, and Kyle caught a keeper. Kyle, with his 1 fish, ended up finishing 3rd place, I think, in the tournament. So they weren't biting very well at all. But it's weird how everything changes. That first Tuesday, which is 4 days before that, I'm talking, I absolutely smashed them. Every cast, I was almost catching them. I didn't catch keepers every time, but I caught 10 to 15 bass. Misty caught a couple. She had a few get off. It didn't seem like it mattered what we threw. Ultimate conditions. We had pre-front conditions, about 60 degrees, misting, rain, and it was just awesome. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if the shad were running, or a little bit more oxygen in the water since it was a little cooler, but we had a ball. start off pitching. I was throwing a beaver that I had some luck with, years past. Last year, the husband and wife tournament, I was throwing the same beaver, caught 4 bass, 3 bass. Misty caught 1 on a popper, and we ended up finishing second place. I'm throwing this beaver. I had a lot of luck out there with it. 10, 12 casts into it, I catch a little 8, 9-inch fish, and then just for the luck, sake of being lucky, I picked up my crankbait rod and threw a 1.5, a Lucky Strike 1.5. Made a few cranks, bounced it off a log, and it got smashed by a little 10 or 12-inch fish. But I never threw that 1.5. I never threw it down on the deck all day unless I was taking fish off from it. I tied a 1.5 on for Misty and a sexy shad collar, and she was getting bit too. But it was weird how they were stacking up. They were in 15 to 17 foot of waters where I was putting the boat, and they were anywhere from 12 to 14 foot in depth probably, but they were coming up feeding on this 1.5 that's probably at the most going 8 foot, because I was throwing on 10-pound fluorocarbon line, so it's getting a little deeper than mono. But it's amazing, how well they were actually smashing that 1.5. You hear all these pros and everybody else that fish a lot all the time say, change your retrieve, change the speed of your retrieve, change the way you're reeling it in, change if you're using a jerk bait, change your cadence. Always change up. Don't just cast and reel, cast and reel, cast and reel. My biggest deal is I have a hard time doing that. I like to chunk and wind for some bass, and all the bass that I caught in this video caught on a Shimano Chronarch. That is a 7:3-to-1 gear ratio. I'm talking about absolutely burning it. 1.5 crankbait, throwing it out there, just burning it basically as fast as I can get it, and they're crushing it. However, in this clip right here, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is never more evident to me that it solidifies what everybody says. I knew that it was the truth. You watch Kevin Van Dam and all these guys, and they're you'll see him crank for a minute, then he'll stop, then he'll crank, and he's just making this really erratic motion of his bait. Guys, let's face it, largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, they're opportunistic feeders. If they're not hungry, if you basically imitate your bait to look like something that's dead or dying, they are going to eat it. And again, I have trouble doing that. I have trouble slowing myself down, just stopping for 3 seconds, starting it back up again. But you see right here in this clip, Misty gets hung up on a limb or something. So I walk back through the boat holding my, I'm cranking it, casting 1.5 out there. I'm cranking it. She gets hung up, I look back. So I stop my retrieve, grab my rod, and I walk through the boat to get her unsnagged. When I walk back there, she'd already got the thing unsnagged, so I walked back through the boat, made 2 cranks, and got absolutely pummeled by about a 3-pound bass. And it was sitting there. I don't know how, had to have been close to the top of the water if it wasn't on top of the water. It's probably had floated back to the top, that bass sitting right underneath it, watching it, just waiting for it to move. And as soon as I made that couple cranks, that bass just absolutely clobbered it. It's amazing. Like, Misty was in disbelief as I was, just as much as I was. So, because I threw it out there, reeling it, and she got snagged, walked through the boat, come back, and they absolutely smashed the 1.5. Some products on the market that absolutely are worth the money that you pay for them. And in this video, all these videos here you can see, especially this one, that I wear a jean, some jeans made by Buckle. They're actually BKE brand, but they are absolutely amazing. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever put on. They have the best fit. They're awesome jeans. Sure, you're going to pay a little bit more than you would if you go buy a pair of Levi's or something, but I'm telling you, they are the most comfortable jeans that you ever put on. I own 5 or 6 pair of them, and it seems like I have 20 pairs of jeans, but the ones that I wear 100% of the time now are BKE. Again, they're made by Buckle. And if you really want a pair of jeans that fit you nice, and they'll make sure they fit you nice there, check out Buckle jeans and all the line of clothing they have at Buckle. But the cool thing about BKE or any jeans you buy at Buckle, if you find a pair of jeans that fit you really nice in the waist, they will actually hem your jeans for you for free. You leave them in the store, they'll ship them out. Usually have them back to you 2 or 3 days later. So, I'm kind of, weird built. I wear 34 in waist, and I have really short legs, about 5'10". So, they had a pair of 34 jeans that are in a regular, which is a 34 length, so they were too long for me. But I talked to the reps there in the store. They took my information down, measured me, shipped the jeans out. I had them back in 2 days. 3 days, I think, is the maximum. That they hemmed them for me, fit me perfect when I got them, and I've never had a problem with them. They are, awesome jeans, guys. Check out BKE from Buckle. It's super nice to get out with my girlfriend Missy and do a little fishing. She likes to fish just as well as I do, probably, and that's saying something. But the way life goes right now for us, she works midnight turns, and I'm a school teacher, so I'm off all summer. But when we try to get something going, it's tough to get something planned because she works midnights again. So it's tough for her to either get off work and go fishing, or in the evening it's tough to get going. But it's super nice to get out and spend some time with her and do a little fishing. And even though she didn't catch a bunch of fish, she caught 2, I think, and then had 3 or 4 get off. It's a learning experience. I had such an amazing time. It was fun. And it was almost to a point where I felt bad because I was catching so many fish. But it was great for me to be, for her to be a part of it with me, because it's a memory that I'll never forget. It was fun. And again, like I said, it's just one of those days when everything comes together that, I guess the man upstairs is looking down on me and they're going to allow us to have a little fun. But some days it comes together like that, some days it doesn't. It's just like they say, some days you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. Guys, I appreciate you checking my YouTube channel out. I have a lot of fun just making these freelance videos, GoProing all the video footage that I fish. Some days I may burn through 7 or 8 hours of footage, which is all SD cards, so it's not like I'm wasting money. But we may fish 8 hours and never catch a fish. And some days you have days like where you catch a bunch of them. But I appreciate you guys checking out my videos. Check out some of my sponsors if you would. Tell them that I sent you. That would help me out a ton. So thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Appreciate it.